I agreed to open our relationship since my girlfriend wanted, and it wrecked her life. And honestly, I still don't know whether I should call what happened a lesson, a tragedy, or just the inevitable consequence of loving someone who never learned how to love themselves. My name's Ethan. I'm 28 now, and this all started with a girl named Marissa, someone I met when we were just dumb high school kids who thought sneaking out after curfew made us rebels. We split when I left for college, mostly because I thought she'd lost interest, even though she later told me she'd broken up because her mom found out she had a boyfriend and basically became a warden. While I was out living my life, dating, going to parties, messing around, she was practically under lock and key. Fast forward years later, we found our way back to each other. We moved in together in 2017, built routines, built a home, built something that felt stable. Or at least I thought it did. About a year ago, Marissa started talking about wanting new experiences. Not emotionally, not romantically, just sexually. She'd grown up so restricted that she felt like she'd missed a rite of passage everyone else had gotten. I was jealous, sure, but I love her enough to try to understand. The first time she showed interest in another guy, he turned out to be an absolute clown. So she backed out of the idea. But a few months ago, she met Derek, some dude from her job, and suddenly her curiosity had a face, a name, and a reason to push harder for an open relationship. I didn't want it. I won't lie. But she cried and said she'd always wondered what she missed out on, and I panicked at the idea of losing her. So I agreed, and that's the exact moment the life we built started to split open down the middle. She started going out with Derek on weekends. Meanwhile, I was messing around on dating apps, trying to feel something. Anything that might balance the scales. But every time I matched with someone, all I could think was, why am I doing this? I just want to be home with her. I'd work long hours during the week, lonely as hell, missing her, only spend my one free weekend day watching her dress up for someone else. And she'd say sweetly, if this bothers you, we can close things again. But I could see in her eyes she didn't mean it. If I said yes, I'd become the villain who held her back. And if I said nothing, I stayed the good boyfriend who swallowed the pain so she could experience life. Eventually I met someone, Harper, not in a romantic way at first, but she was kind, grounded, thoughtful, someone who listened, someone who remembered to ask me how my day went. And yeah, the chemistry was there. When we finally crossed that line, it felt warm and human, not like the hollow hookups Marissa had pursued. That scared Marissa. She started calling nonstop whenever I was with Harper, then throw herself at me right as I was walking out the door, telling me she just needed me out of nowhere. Suddenly, the girl who said she didn't believe in jealousy was acting like my shadow belonged to her. But whenever I tried to talk about how I felt, about the loneliness, about how she was drifting, about how our intimacy felt like a dying light, she'd shut down or get defensive. You always think I'm the problem. Why are you never satisfied? You're imagining problems. Meanwhile, she was unraveling in ways I didn't recognize. She started blowing her entire paycheck on tattoos and piercings, not in a fun, expressive way, but in a compulsive, self-soothing way. She started skipping work, then showing up late, then skipping more. Her grades dropped. She didn't even realize what her own finals were. She'd stay at Derek for days at a time. She said she hated being alone, and since my job was 12-hour swing shifts, she had nowhere else to go, which was a lie, because she had home with me, but she didn't want home. She wanted escape. That's what she was chasing all along. I was just the net she expected to fall into whenever she got tired. Then she quit her job entirely. No plan, no income, just vibes. She spent my money on delivery food every single day while doing nothing, absolutely nothing at home. Whenever I asked if she could at least do laundry or dishes, or just anything to keep us afloat, she'd cry or say I was attacking her. And the intimacy, God, it evaporated. She told me she loved me and wanted to marry me, but she had nothing left to give. The last time we were intimate was a disaster of awkward timing and emotional distance. She'd curl away from me at night while telling me she wanted forever. Our relationship became a ghost town we both pretended was still a city. Then, Out of nowhere, her mom called. The same mother who had traumatized her into emotional paralysis. The woman apologized, actually apologized, for ruining her childhood and admitted she'd done the same damage to Marissa's brother, who was spiraling into isolation and psychosis. Marissa broke. Something in her cracked open, and she sobbed like she'd never breathed before. She told her mom she was going to start therapy. She said she realized she was becoming her mother, hurting me the way she'd been hurt. Then she applied for a second job the next day, as if she could duct tape a collapsing wall. But the wall wasn't our finances. It was us. And too many bricks had already fallen out. After that, I confided in friends. Every single one said the same thing. Ethan, it's over. I didn't want to hear it. I didn't want to be the villain in her story. I didn't want to abandon someone who was drowning. But I realized I wasn't her life raft. I was the anchor she kept tying herself to every time she tried to swim away. So I did the hardest thing I've ever done. I broke up with her. She cried, begged, said she'd change. But she wasn't even home enough for us to talk in person. She just kept living at Derek's and using our apartment like a storage locker. When she found out my friends supported the breakup, she went on an unhinged rant about wanting to ruin their lives for taking me away from her. That sealed it. When the lease ended, she assumed she'd move with me and my new roommate. I told her no. She had to live with the choices she'd made. She moved in with Derek. Within a month, she was texting me nonstop about how horrible he was, controlling, manipulative, dismissive, only nice when he wanted something. She was basically describing herself. I pointed out the parallels gently, but she only gave a half-assed apology before going into another cycle of chaos. That's when I started therapy again. Real therapy. Not I go to therapy to fix my relationship, but I go to therapy to fix myself. And slowly, I did. My finances stabilized. My mental clarity returned. The constant buzzing anxiety I'd lived with for months faded like background noise, finally turned off. I started dating Harper officially. And being with her, it was like stepping out of a hurricane into a warm, quiet room. No chaos. No emotional whiplash. No feeling like I had to earn peace by walking on eggshells. She communicates. She listens. She respects boundaries. She doesn't compete, doesn't manipulate, doesn't treat affection like a bargaining chip. I didn't realize how exhausted I was until being with someone healthy made rest feel possible again. It took months to stop flinching when someone asked if I was okay. Took months to stop apologizing for having needs. Took months to stop expecting love to feel like unpredictable weather. But now, I have a life again, a partner again, a sense of self again. Sometimes I look back on those 6 years with Marissa and feel grief, anger, confusion. But more than anything, I feel done. Not bitter, not resentful, just done carrying someone who refused to walk beside me. She wanted freedom. She got it. She wanted experience. She got that too. But she also lost one person who held her together without asking for anything except honesty and care. And as for me, I learned I'm allowed to outgrow the people I once thought I'd spend forever with. I learned that love without boundaries becomes self-destruction. And I learned that sometimes the kindest thing you can do for them and for yourself is walk away before both of you drown. If there's one conclusion I hold on to now, it's this: I didn't lose anything when she left. I finally made space for something healthier to begin.